So my name is Klaus Lukascheck, for those who don't know it yet. I'm from Austria, from Vienna, and whenever I go to the events like this, I get tons of new disk images on some hard drives or some USB sticks, and I always get into the trouble that I probably have lots of it already, and I have to sort that new stuff against my collection and have to find out the duplicates. And also under these 10 or 20,000 disk images, when you want to actually find something, like for the Horizon RAM disk, the DSR, the correct disk, you might know what you're looking for, but you don't know where to look for, because you have such a large directory full of folders with disks, but the Windows Explorer doesn't allow you to search for TI files within those. So I tried to find some option to overcome that without browsing for every single disk image by entering it and using, for example, the tools of Red Carl, like TI-99 here, to be able to allows you to enter all those. But I wanted to have some search options, so I give it some metadata I know about that, and then get a search result, and that easily gives me the information I want. So I'm starting now WEB99, so this is the program how I called it. And the first option is you need to tell it where your disk images are stored. You have some directory selection here, and I will just guide it to a copy of the FTP server of WHTech that I did in January, and I will ask it to start indexing. And while it's doing that, goes through these directories, and whenever I find something like a TI disk, it says I added a new document for that into my index. So I created an index based on whatever data is being found, and it checks all those disk images for TI files and tries also to find out information about that. So is it a basic program, or is it an assembler program, is it a GPL program, or is it just some graphical image or some data file that is needed for some other program. So I would like to help the user from the situation that he's basically lost with a disk that he doesn't know, and has to find out on his own how to start that, how to find out what actually this disk is about. And so this is a work of improvement, of helping the user and assisting him and telling him, okay, hey mister, I found out that this is a TI basic file, and you can start that using TI basic, or this is a TI logo file and you need TI logo for that. Or this is an extended basic, and you cannot start it in TI basic, but you need extended basic, and stuff like that. And the more checks I will integrate, the more clever it becomes, and the more helpful it is. So now on this copy of WHTech, it found 2,699 disks, and in that, over 23,000 disk file records. It's like an, oh nice. That was one second. That was one space too much. Okay. Let's search it. Okay, it was about over 23,000 TI files it was finding in this index. And now the second step would be that it searches for duplicates. That's all it has found in the index. So the data from the actual disk images is no longer being used, so you could unplug the hard disk because all is in the index now, and from the index the search is happening for duplicates, and you can search for the files that you want to find and stuff like that. Yeah, it should be through soon. So now I search for a second time through the same folder, so all it finds is no new TI files because it has all those in the index. All it finds is disk clones. So a disk clone is, I have the disk in the index already, and now it was being tried to edit one more time, maybe with the same file name on PC level, or with another file name, or with a whole other path and stuff like that. So basically the disk image as such is binary, the same thing, just either in the same, with the same item path, with the same directory path or file path, or with another one. But for TI side it doesn't matter because the content is the same. And since the disks are the same, the content of the disk, the TI files are the same. And there is also for the single, no, not again. Now I'll use the mouse. No. I will ask it to find now the duplicates that are in the index. So disk file record is, for example, we have the program load, which is some probably basic program, with the TI file name load. But if somebody calls it in on his disk load 1, it would probably, unless we check it, could be something else. But this program checks for, okay, is it the same? So is it the same TI file, but just with another name? So this is like how these levels of duplicates and clones are being checked. It's not too interesting. The important thing is that it's working. So we close that now. The index is done, at least for this content of the FTP server, and we can start the search window. It's saying, so it gives you now on this left side a list of all TI files in the index. Since we didn't add any filters yet, it says I'm matching 16,614 TI files. The view as such is limited to 5,000. I can remove the limit, so I could see 16,000 if I want that. Doesn't make too much sense. There is also some statistics when I first load this. So I have 5,398 TI disk clones. Actually, TI disks, there are only 2,002. So probably some of them are multiple times within that the directory structure. On those I have 19,400 TI file records. Those are actually matching only 16,000, so there are over 3,000 or almost 3,000 duplicates of TI files. And actually binary content is only, we can distinguish between only 16,000, so even like 500 less, again, if you only check the binary level of it. And while indexing, it already did this checks I wanted to do. So I could say now I only want to see programs that match the file type. Normally a basic program is called program, but now the file type is a more intelligent one, so it says I detected this as an XB program, extended basic program. Or this $cut one is detected as TI basic. So only TI basic is needed, is required to run this one. And I can click on one entry and get to the content. And I can copy that out to the clipboard. I can print it or whatever, or use that. And this is also like syntax highlighting, so the TI basic and the extended basic. So in the modern computer programming world, there is syntax highlighting is like a common thing, so that numbers and certain commands and certain things that are like a string are more easily readable. And for these old things, it's so you can, for example, here see much more nicely that these are the strings that actually is it about. Or here is some information that goes on as a string. And you see that the numbers are always in that brown color. And so I added like a syntax highlighting library on my own that this program is using, and I can also share that with other tools if you want that. It's like the standard library that Notepad++, for example, if you know that, is using. It's a SCI Lexa, and I did an edition of, I think, TI Basic and GPL so far. I think. I'm not sure about the GPL now. So if you say now you want a basic program and you know the file name, and the file name is something with, I don't know, let's say we find something with Italy, so now it checks for anything that contains ETR in its file name. So always with the star, because it's like the index is based on Lucene and there is a certain search index, search syntax. Then it gives you the result, the filtered result. And you can see here also from the file, not just the content, so the actual listing, but some metadata, file size and such. And there's also a hash key generated for those binaries and file ID, and these are compared against each other to find out about duplicates. But you also see that this is used in this directory structure at a certain location on a certain disk image. So you see that actually where it came from and where it was indexed from, and could work with that. There is even the possibility to not only search for file names, but also for text. So I could say I want everything that contains Italy in the source code. And then I see here a program from Paolo Bagnaresi. And here is the word Italy, for example. So I get a list of all the programs which are in my index. And the more complete my library is, the more results I will get and the more accurate the search result will be. I filtered list of all the programs that match my search. And I could do so. I can say I know the file sectors are exactly 33 or something like that, and then I only get results of programs matching 33. So this is like detected as a text file. I think I had a bug in viewing the content of the text file, that's why I disabled it. And there's also, I'm currently in the way to identify even more than just the iBasic and extended basic, but I try to identify things like, okay, this is a file that needs and requires a certain other basic variant. Let's see if there is anything. I'm really not sure the current state. Wait. Oh yeah, find something. So there is some basic, for example, this ASCII file that requires extended basic 3 because it's using a certain token or a certain syntax that is only compatible with extended basic 3, and that's why I can say this must be run within extended basic. So that's like the cleverness I want to introduce within that program. And there are little things like I can set up where my classic 99 folder is, and then I can copy that file into this directory of it to easily run it within an emulator. And the other option I was like prototyping so far, that looks odd, is that I communicate with an actual real TI over the serial port, and from the TI I can give a certain search entry and can search in my index through the serial port and get the result back, and can then say I want number 4 from the search result, and then it loads and gives me the program via the serial port, and so I can actually load via the serial interface without having the need to create a disk, and without even the need of a bootstrapper. I think I don't have. So here is a setup. I can set up here, and then I can say, let's say, some XP program. Copy that, so now a new file should be in the flip, okay. So here is flip. And I could now... This looks a bit odd because of the... Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Failed the test.
Just answer.
But yeah, it's meant to be work.
Is that my file?
I don't know. Did you know something from Mr. Richard? But actually you can do it like this. You can copy it and say...
Can I call my file?
Flip switch.
This is also meant to get something into the memory of Texas Instruments, the TI. Yeah. Lately I didn't have too much time to progress on that because I'm currently, next week I'm marrying, so I'm away, and there are simply more private things to do. Yeah, so that's about WEB99. Any questions on that?
Congratulations.
Okay.
Yes, good job.
Yeah.
When you will
building the index, you're also copying the content and putting it in the index.
The binary content, yes. Otherwise, I couldn't
You
see
couldn't
the
do
content.
these
Yeah.
searches. Okay. So it's a pretty big file where
It becomes quite big, but since I'm getting rid of the duplicate, it's also like optimizing it in the end.
Okay.
So if we check, let's see. It's around 600 megabytes currently.
Okay. Thank you.
For what do we have? 16,000 files around.
Okay.
Any other questions on that?